Is CGC slapping 9.9s on everything? Are they going crazy? Well, let's take a look at 20 books that I've looked at over the course of like the last 15 months to see the progress of the number of 9.9s. I don't know the results yet. Let's go through this together. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on other social medias, Instagram and whatnot, Bronzeville_comics. Those links are in the description of this video, as is a link to my eBay store and my email. So I was doing an investigation. I was actually more before all of this craziness was talked about in recent months. It was last March. I took a look at the 20 books that had the most 9.8s with 0 9.9s. And one of the reasons I did that was just kind of like I had a Batman Adventures 12 that I sent. I got 9.6, thought it was nearly perfect. Resubmitted it, had one little maybe finger bend in it that CGC probably put there free of charge. Got that out, submitted, got the 9.8. I'm like, there are no 9.9s. I'm like, what would happen if there's a 9.9 in a very popular, very expensive book that has no 9.8s? So I wanted to say, well, let's obviously, if you get a 9.9 for some, crazy book from the Silver Age, completely different story, right? I'm looking at books that have a lot of 9.8s, where 9.8 is an attainable book. They're out there. There are plenty. There are at least, thousands of these. So let's take a look at the data that I had accumulated over the last year. Okay, so here are the 20 books. And the number of 9.8s in March 16, 2023. I didn't even realize it was almost to the year, off by one day to the year later, is March of 2024. Did the same comparison. Now, the 20 books in total in 2023 had a total of 53,000, anywhere between 1,100 and 4,100, but a total of 53,000 9.8s. That number increased overall for the 20 books to 56,000 9.8s, or an increase of about 6.5%. Still 0 9.9s and, of course, 0 10s in either of these. Now, some of these maybe on weaker paper. Who knows? The other issues may prevent it from getting a 9.8, but we're seeing books like Giant Size X-Men 1 with the, color rub getting 9.9s and things with spine ticks getting 9.9s. So I've been, there are a lot of YouTubers talking about this and talking about isolated incidents of books. So this, I think, is a pretty good 20 book sample of books that CGC historically hasn't given any 9.9s to. Now, prior to this, I think it was November 2023, X-Men number 4, first appearance of Omega Red, got a 9.9. It was the sole 9.9 on the census after, thousands of 9.8s of that book, right? So that was kind of like, well, I guess it's possible that every once in a while a book can get a 9.8. And it kind of has collectors and people who submit a lot of books scratching their heads going, well, what's the difference between a 9.8 and 9.9? And CGC was very selective in the past. So I haven't really looked at these data yet. So let's kind of go through these 20 books and then we'll, get all the data together and make another comparison. So, and let's see if there's any 9.9. So Batman Adventures 12 is the first book on our list. Still none, right? And I'm looking at only Universal Blue labels. There are 1,273. Sandman 1. Still 1,165, 9.8s, no 9.9s. Marvel Comics Presents number 72. The chapter 1 of the Weapon X storyline, art by Barry Windsor Smith. 1,736, 9.8s, no 9.9s. Uncanny X-Men 282, first cameo appearance of Bishop and first cover appearance. 1,903. Universal 9.8s, no 9.9s. We're still striking out, right? Like the Chicago White Sox with men in scoring position. Strange Academy #1. Exactly 2,000 Blue Label. Exactly 2,000 Blue Label 9.8s. Still nothing better. Something is Killing the Children #1. This is not the right. This is the 5th printing. I got to find the first printing. Let's look up. Search again. Something is Killing the Children #1. Search. 2019. Yeah, here we go. I think this is it. Yes. Okay. Yep. Still nothing. 2,122. And I'm taking a quick look at the signature series as well. I don't really expect Restored or Qualified to pop up for these books, but you never know. Young Avengers #1. Nope. Nothing. Nada. 0. Zilch. Infinity Gauntlet 1. Nope. Classic George Perez cover. Nada. Still nada. Amazing Spider-Man 365. First appearance of Miguel O'Hara. Spider-Man 2099 in preview. Nope. Nothing. 9/8. Omega Men #3. First appearance of Lobo. 3,155 9/8. Nothing. Nice House on the Lake #1. Nope. Nothing. 0 zilch. Spawn #9. First appearance of Angela. And even the newsstand edition. Now that they've been aggregating data on those separately since they started, what was it, a year and a half ago, putting newsstand on the thing. Saga #1. Nope. 3,003 9/8. Nope. No 9/9s. You're the Villain Hell Arisen #3. First full appearance of Punchline. Nope. We're still nothing. Thor #1. First Jane Foster as the new Thor. Amazing Spider-Man 55, Patrick Gleason, Webhead. That's the 3rd printing. I need the first printing. Amazing Spider-Man 55. Let's search that again. Amazing Spider-Man 55. 2021. Marvel Comics. Oh, here it is. This one. That should be the first printing. Yep. Nope. Nothing. Only a few more to go. Ultimate Fallout 4. None. Shelley variant, the 2nd printing. None. The other 2nd printing. None. The Jurjevic. None. Interesting. Very interesting. And as I've said before in previous videos I've done in this series, can you imagine like either this book or the Batman Adventures 12? I think those are the 2 most expensive on this list. Can you imagine what would a 9.9, a single solitary 9.9 go for? 10x more? Venom 3, first full appearance of Null, nothing. Darth Vader #3, first appearance of Dr. Aphra, nada, none, 0 zilch zip. And then the #1 was, no, this is still, come on. I need to do another search. Search again. New Agents of Atlas. #1. This one? Nope. Come on. That doesn't make sense. Nope. Is it mislabeled here? Yeah, that's the one. 2014. Anyway, I don't know what that's about. But still, nothing. So all of those still no 9.9s and certainly no 10s. Let's aggregate the data. Okay, so here's the data of all the books. So The first list I made was on March 16th of last year. Then the last one just a few months ago, March 15th of this year. And now we're a little less than 3 months later, and we still have not have found any 9/8 for any of these 20 books. Different publishers, different titles, different eras, different paper qualities, different printing methods, different special things like holograms on Amazing Spider-Man 365. You're talking about going all the way back to Baxter paper with Omega Man 3. Still, 0 of them have had a 9.9. And we're talking about 57,000 for these 20 titles, 57,000. Now, Ryan from Automatic Comics has been following this, and he found like somebody had submitted, I think it was 25 Wolverine Limited Series 1s, and got back, I think, 3 9/9s at 10, everything else was 9/8s. Where did he get that many good books? His theory was that now could have been a warehouse find. That's potential. I know somebody just got 200-300 copies each of Spider-Man 1, silver and gold, right? It could have been something like that. His theory was that somebody was buying 9/8s that looked really good, cracking them and resubmitting them. And just by getting just 199, you potentially cover all your costs for that, and you're making money. By getting a 10 and 399, you could be doing very well. And I'm surprised. The 2 big books here, of course, are Ultimate Fallout 4. And you can see here, that's gone up by almost 500 books. It went from 4th on the list to 3rd, now to 2nd. So 500 books have been graded. Some of these others, like in the last 3 months, virtually none. Like War of the Realms New Ages Atlas 16 books. Amazing Spider-Man 55, 11 books. Thor 1, 13 books. These are books that are no longer anywhere near hot lists. So that makes sense. The other book is Batman Adventures 12 in a 9/8, a couple $1,000s. And we can see just 20 books. Now there was, like, for instance, and Golden Age Guru had in that huge Secret Sound collection, had submitted 25 Batman Adventures 12s and got 20-ish 9/8s. But I'm trying to just, it kind of goes against this theory that CGC is just throwing out 9.9s. This is a fairly small sample size, only 20 books, but it is an interesting list of books to track. We're talking about 57,000 books that have been graded, and there haven't been any 9/9s, and that's been consistent for the last year and 3 months that we've been tracking this. So I'm going to come back probably in September to do another video on this and see exactly how many 9.9s, if any, we have at that time. I would think for an Ultimate Fallout 4, if a 9.9 does pop up, and especially if it comes to market, that's going to be something notable that people are going to take notice of. But I just find, it's kind of how, I think the question is, how are certain books getting 9/9s now? But none of these 20 have. What separates them? And in statistics, the definition of bias is where the sample produces results that are different from the population in some important way, right? Now, you're taking small samples. You're just looking at Wolverine Limited Series number 1, and that already had 9/9s. This is a fairly large sample. Why is this different than the population of all older comic books? And by older, I mean books that came out prior to me making this initial list. These are not fresh off the shelves books. I think, what's the most recent book on this list? I'm not sure off the top of my head. Might be the Webhead Gleason variant, or Gleason ASM 55, or it might be Nice House on the Lake, all kind of in that same time frame. But I mean, we're talking also, these books span 40 years of comic books. I'm pretty sure the oldest is Omega Man 3. And then probably the next oldest is Sandman 1 and Batman Adventures 12. I think those are, probably in that order. And then the Uncanny X-Men 282 around there. Obviously, these are keys because people have submitted a lot of them and have continued to do so. Only another, 600 or 595 submitted in the last 3 months across the 20 titles. So I think we need a little bit longer lens, and it's going to be something to be patient with. And maybe at some point we'll hear something from CGC regarding, kind of how they do this, rather than just like these weird videos where they go through 25 books of something fresh off the shelves. So anyway, I personally, and maybe this will change later in the week, maybe in 2 days, I will have gotten 9.9s back. I've never gotten a 9.9. And, I think that's another piece of at least empirical evidence that will say, oh, wow, they're giving out 9.9s. If somebody does submit books, then gets back a 9.9 for an older book. I'm not talking about like a foil metal square bound, fresh book, I know somebody got a whole bunch of 9.9s in submission, but they were all Dynamite comic foils. I'm interested in these established keys that have few, or in the case of these 20 books, 0 9.8s, 9.9s. I'm sorry. So anyway, there could have been other books that have bumped into the list, and maybe that's something I'll investigate next time. So maybe it'll bump something out of the list. But it's an interesting. 57,000 books and no 9.9s, 57,000 9.8s and no 9.9s. That's a lot of 9.8s. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for stopping by and spending some time here. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.